Hi, and welcome to Stories with Wanda. We're going to read a book called Lamb Says Boo. It was written by Katherine Sully, and the pictures are by Gail Yerril. Ba! Moo! Oink! Neigh! Ma! What a racket! It was springtime, and everyone was noisy on the farm. All the mothers were calling to their new babies, and all the young animals were playing noisy games. All except for quiet Lamb. She said, "Ba," in such a little voice that no one noticed her. One day, Piglet, Goat, Foal, and Calf were on their way to the farmyard to play. "Where are you going?" asked Quiet Lamb in her little voice. But they were making too much noise to hear Lamb, and Lamb followed along behind. Piglet, Goat, Foal, and Calf were still making a racket as they passed the goose on their way through the gate. They made such a racket that they woke the little goslings. Goose was very cross. "Be quiet, you noisy animals," she honked, pecking at them and flapping her wings. Piglet, Goat, Foal, and Calf ran past Goose. But Quiet Lamb stayed where she was. She was too scared to run past Goose. Goose glared at her. Lamb decided to go the long way around the farmyard on her own. By the time Lamb trotted into the farmyard, Piglet, Goat, Foal, and Calf were deciding what game to play. "Let's play hide and seek," Piglet said. She had the loudest voice. "Bah!" said Quiet Lamb in her little voice. "Can I join in?" But no one heard her. "I'll be the seeker," said Foal, who was the oldest. "You all hide in the farmyard while I count to 10. Then I'll come and find you." Foal started counting, and the animals all ran off to hide. 1, 2. Goat hid in the stable, where there was a tasty hay net hanging up. 3, 4. Piglet ran to the barn and jumped into the straw bales. 5, 6. Calf hid behind the hen house. 7, 8. And Lamb ran to the dog kennel and hid inside. 9, 10. "Ready or not, here I come," Foal neighed loudly. First, Foal found Goat because she was munching so loudly. Then she found Piglet, who squealed when the straw tickled her. Next, she found the calf, who couldn't help mooing to herself. But Lamb was so quiet that none of them could find her. As they passed Lamb's hiding place, she overheard them talking. "Lamb is so quiet," said Calf. "She wouldn't say boo to a goose," said Goat. After a while, Lamb couldn't hear any noise outside the kennel. She peeked out and looked around. There was no one there. Piglet, Goat, Foal, and Calf had given up looking for Lamb, and they'd all gone home. Lamb went back to the field alone, the long way around to avoid Goose. She thought about what Goat had said. "Bah!" she said quietly. "Boo!" she tried instead. The next morning, Lamb joined Piglet, Goat, Foal, and Calf on their way to the farmyard. As usual, they were making a terrible racket. And as usual, Goose was cross when they woke her goslings. Piglet, Goat, Foal, and Calf ran past the grumpy Goose, but Lamb hung back. She took a tiny step toward Goose and, looking at her feet, she whispered, "Boo." Goose stopped flapping and honking and looked at Lamb. "Speak up," said Goose. Baa! Baa! Boo? Said Lamb in a wobbly voice. Did you say boo? Asked the goose, surprised. The others said I wouldn't say boo to a goose, said Lamb. Goose honked with laughter. That's just a way of saying that you're quiet, she told Lamb. I just want them to notice me, said Lamb sadly. You need to speak up a little, said Goose, and they need to be more quiet. Then Goose had an idea. The next day, Lamb was at the front of the noisy crowd of animals on their way to the farmyard. When she reached Goose, she stopped and said to the goose very quietly so she wouldn't wake the goslings, "Boo." The other animals stopped and went very quiet. What will Goose do, they wondered. But Goose just smiled at Lamb and waved her wing. Lamb trotted through the farm gate. One by one, Piglet, Goat, Foal, and Calf copied Lamb. They stopped in front of Goose and whispered, "Boo," very quietly. One by one, Goose waved them past with a smile. When they reached the farmyard, Piglet, Goat, Foal, and Calf crowded around Lamb. "I didn't think you'd dare say boo to that grumpy goose," said Goat. "Goose doesn't mind you saying boo," explained Lamb, "as long as you say it quietly. Goose is only grumpy because you're waking up her goslings." From then on, Lamb played noisy games with Piglet, Goat, Foal, and Calf in the farmyard. But whenever they passed Goose and her goslings, they were all sure to be quiet as Lamb. And that's the end of the story. Thank you for listening. I'll see you again soon.